With every control chart, at least with the C charts, or I'm sorry, the mean charts, I need to construct a range chart, and here's the reason why. Those mean charts, every time I take an average, it smooths out the data, so it's kind of like it's hiding problems. The R chart is just a second look, and the R chart is going to look at the variation in each of my samples, and I want the variation to be within a certain bandwidth, upper control limit, lower control limit, in order for me to claim that the variation in my process is not out of control. All right, so here are the steps for creating an R chart. And here it starts with a calculation for each sample, that's what the R sub I means, of the range. So I go back to the same problem we were working on. We have already created the range, and the range was just the maximum from each sample minus the minimum from each sample. And we did that calculation for every sample. Okay? So I do have my ranges already calculated. Next step in the process is to calculate the mean of the ranges. This we've also done already. So I go back and I take the mean, the average according to Excel, of the ranges. We did that before. Here you see the process where I just use the average function to average the calculated ranges. Okay? Next step in the process. It says that for a range chart, the center line is the mean of the ranges. So that step's already taken care of. I have the mean of the ranges, it will be the center line. And it's not going to change. For every sample, I have the exact same sample or center line. And my column B and now my column I make up the ordered pairs that will be used in the range chart. Just a horizontal line at the mean of the ranges. Okay. All right, next step in the process. The next step in the process says I can construct an upper control limit for a range as some number D4. Well, where does that number D4 come from? Well, it comes from table 6.1 on page 230 of the textbook. And so what I need is the number of measures in each sample. So let me go back. I need the number of measures in each sample. So count the number of measures per sample. And then I need the table. So I go to sample size of 4. I'm in this row. D4 2.282. Okay, so I can get the range by looking up in the number 4 in my table. Now obviously you're doing this in the table from the textbook on page 230. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 5th column. And that should give me my now let me go here. This should be H16. That will help out. Oops. Probably should be G16 apparently. There we go. 2.282. Now D3 also comes from that table. So I need to go get D3. V lookup the number of measures in a sample. Go to the table. For you, it's the table on page 230. Find the row, the 4th row, and get the 1, 2, 3, 4th element from that row. And in this case, that's just the number 0. Okay. Next step in the process says that once I have D4, I can go ahead and calculate this upper control limit for my range chart. So let me go back. My upper control limit for my range chart is by definition equal to D4 times the mean of the ranges. Next step, get the lower control limit. According to this, to the left of the equation to the left, that's the maximum of 0, and D3 times R bar. So it's going to be 0. So I have all of the makings for my range chart. What I need is I need the upper control limit, and I need the lower control limit, and I need to create a bunch of ordered pairs so that I can draw a picture of my control limits and the variation in the range. Okay, so in the next video, what I'll do is I'll show you how to construct the chart that goes with these variations in the range.